Greetings everyone for Cohort 3 for International Business and Marketing and Doctor. This is Shane Tisdale, web conferencing in basically, or videoing in for our class on Saturday, June 9th, with basically my review of some current global news as it relates to marketing. What I found was something really interesting, something that wasn't just a typical day-to-day occurrence of global marketing trends for the future, services and supplies, going abroad, legislation, things affecting things a lot more relevant in this week's readings from chapters 4, 5, and 6, which will relate to different tariffs and taxes. As a preface, I would say that yes, like probably many, I did see what I believe was Canada's Prime Minister. It was a gal, but was on there saying that if the U.S. now was going to be putting different charges or tariffs on things coming in from Canada, that Canada was going to do the same basically thing back and charge this requisite type fee, whatever. I thought that was super interesting, but I couldn't find that article to post it, and I found one that was a lot more interesting to me because I'm a big fan of Morgan Freeman, and Morgan Freeman's been in the news big, and as people already know, he's an international star. So he is an international, someone would argue, he is an international product for a lot of these different movies, films, TV, broadcasting for voiceovers, and a lot of other different products and services. Case in point, Visa credit card. So this is an article that came out recently from the New York Times online, and it was published by Deb Sopan on May 25th, 2018. I'll read you what it's called, give you a little synopsis or background about it. It says, Visa stops Morgan Freeman commercials after sexual harassment report. Now, from what I've been able to discern from this article and others published online, anything else in the news as of late, the last couple of weeks, these are just allegations. I haven't seen anything saying official charges are being filed, anything's going to court, or that there's any likelihood that for what is being accused or allegated for harassment, that there was any kind of assault whatsoever, and anything that would be in that nature. So what I found was interesting was this. Knowing that up front, as kind of a preface for what I'm reviewing here today, still, Visa Bank or Visa credit card already was proactive with its advertising campaign, with whatever it had set up for marketing, to already pull the ads with Morgan Freeman. And Mountain Dew, whose parent company is PepsiCo, which is a publicly traded company, and as everybody already knows, is an international company also with its products and product line. They also have done the same, and they aren't referencing it with a specific comment saying it was because of these other charges or whatever else, which is probably good PR. But this is what it does say in the New York Times article when they investigated further with PepsiCo, or interviewed PepsiCo. It said Mountain Dew, including a Mountain Dew commercial that began running during this year's Super Bowl. A spokesperson for PepsiCo, Mountain Dew's parent company, said the commercial had previously stopped running. Now, why would they stop running one of the biggest commercials, again, advertisement, as part of a marketing campaign that was positioned during one of the biggest mass media times, and or through a target audience time during the Super Bowl, the biggest time ever, run this incredibly popular commercial with Morgan Freeman for Mountain Dew through PepsiCo, and then just pull it? Is that a coincidence? Is it coincidence that Morgan Freeman has not been charged at all? These are just allegations once again, but now even Visa credit card has pulled their commercials and at the same time already released a statement, but nothing's even gone to court yet. There's no official charges. You know, it's not the Bill Cosby situation at all. There's nothing even, from what I've been able to read so far and review and research, there's nothing even relative to the charges that are going in court against Bill Cosby and continuing. Nothing whatsoever. It does not look like a racially motivated type allegation or charges or anything else like that whatsoever. But already Visa credit card and PepsiCo have already pulled ads with him. And Morgan Freeman has 2 other films that are nearing the end of production, as reported by the New York Times, along with one that's already complete with Disney. And nothing's been done with those companies whatsoever. So I find that incredibly interesting, looking at the products with, let's say, Mountain Dew soft drink, Visa credit card, and the global community already saying, we're not waiting. We're proactive. We're not saying with there's smoke there's fire at all. They didn't say that in any of their statements. But at the same time, if there's a chance of impropriety, we want nothing to do with that. To me, that's reflecting immediately, whether it's right or wrong, because this could be totally wrong and it could come back to haunt Visa credit card and PepsiCo. But for right now, as reported through the New York Times, I would like to try to argue that this is going to reflect a couple things. The culture, the values, and the value system, importantly, of Visa credit card and PepsiCo right now, even before anything happens in the future, and send a clear message through its marketing campaigns and through further advertising, anything else right now in the social media sphere, saying this is who we are. If we hear something, we're going to act on it immediately. This is who we are as a firm and one with a global presence, and what we're trying to market to now our target audience, and what we feel that they want to see from us and what they expect from us and who we are, and try to ensure to invoke a response through sales, through marketing and sales, on what actually their target audience, their followers, want to see from Visa credit card, or not see through Visa credit card by what they've done or what they've not done, as it relates to these 2 other companies along with Disney that have things in the hopper right now with Morgan Freeman. Again, he could be totally innocent, and it could bite him. It could bite him later from a risk assessment perspective. I definitely would have expected a release, a press release from Disney already. Nothing. Something from these other companies that are movies that are finishing up with Morgan Freeman, and anyone else that's done some other products or voiceover for products with Morgan Freeman in the past. I want to say, I'm guessing, but I want to say one of the last ones I saw him doing voiceovers for were like for Capital One credit card. Whatever. Have I seen anything mentioned about that in this article by the New York Times? No. Have I seen anything else in the news? No. Have I seen any kind of statement about from Capital One saying, look, if we hear something like this, we're going to act on it immediately, because in my opinion, they're concerned about their image in the media and through social media, in the news, and at the same time, they want to make sure when people identify their product and or their services and their name and who they are for their culture, their values, and their value system, whoever it is, even if it's Capital One, they immediately are doing something about it. Whether it's right or wrong, or whether it's just issuing a generalized statement, they're doing something immediately because they're in tune with their followers. I think that's what the Visa credit card has done, what Mountain Dew has done, and I'm interested to find out from that marketing perspective in the future what else they're going to do now in contrast to what happens with Morgan Freeman, legally or not, in the future. Are they going to reverse it? Are they going to do another follow-up press release saying we're sorry? We've lifted the sanctions and suspension on Morgan Freeman's commercial, and we've returned to playing the other Mountain Dew commercial and Visa credit card, doing more voiceovers or new voiceovers with Morgan Freeman. The only thing I would leave everyone with today would be that I've seen this before, and I've seen it with it wasn't actually an actual product, but it was more like a service, product-like service, and they had something online for a video game that was Facebook-based through social media. And the company, right after Arnold Schwarzenegger was admitted to being guilty of having an affair, and then the wife divorced him. I think it's Maria Shriver, if I'm not mistaken. Immediately, they started running advertisements for this commercial featuring literally Arnold Schwarzenegger, and then a new movie coming out with him. I don't know if it was Expendables 3 or if it was another one with Sylvester Stallone, but it was out immediately, and I thought that would, as a product, being Arnold Schwarzenegger, that talent in media, I thought that literally was going to affect sales in every way. But as you see it when it comes to certain people like Morgan Freeman that are Hollywood stars, I would argue when you get someone like that trying to sell a product that is internationally known, it's not out of sight, out of mind. It's not, because if it is, it's going to work to your disadvantage. They get right back in there and pretend nothing's happened, and if they do so much, people will forget, and that's what they've done so many times. Even with R. Kelly, a lot of people argued was that he just kept publishing good music, and people forgot all about the scandals in the entertainment industry as it related to the music industry because of allegations about Aaliyah and her being underage and things of that nature. But he just kept coming out with great songs and kept coming out with winning awards and kept coming out with more things that people could see in the media and in the industry that was successful, and people they tend to forget. That gets blanket marketing, and that's something I would say could be done here. If Morgan Freeman already has 2 films due out, and the other one's already done by Disney, and he has other voiceovers that could still be running, and no one's releasing statements about them like Capital One, they're blanket marketing it, and that's one way to keep their products alive internationally, and hopefully not tick off too many people in the meantime. Otherwise, if they've done that in the U.S., like Visa probably is anticipating, or in the U.S. as far as it relates to that commercial that's running for the U.S. Super Bowl, that would be then PepsiCo. I would say they were concerned and they took action, and we're seeing a reflection of their action. And we're seeing what people thought was interesting about it, because they did an entire article online here by the New York Times on May 25th. It was recent, and talking all about it. It took the time to research it, put it all together. So I literally, if I had to summarize it, I would say that what relates the most about this, whether Morgan Freeman as a product or the products he represents from a global perspective of marketing and advertising, PepsiCo, Capital One, and or Visa credit card, was that when you're looking at a culture of your firm and or your target audience, your values and your value system, constantly be assessing that, no matter who you are and what position you are. At all times, have a plan from a PR campaign perspective as it relates to marketing. Know what you're planning on doing, know what your controls are going to be, what the hazards are, and have something ready in the pike, ready to put out and publish, because this could be immediate controversy, regardless if something goes to court or not, or if something's prosecuted or not. And I think PepsiCo and the other one would be Visa credit card have done a good job to be proactive in that extent, especially from a domestic perspective. Internationally, I haven't read anything yet to know what their market share has been like since this came out, but I would like to think that their market share is still maintained or rose because they were proactive, and I think that's relates to what we went through over the last couple weeks of reading through chapters 4, 5, and 6. So I hope you enjoyed this. I'm going to put a link in the copy of the article that I'm attaching to Mort that I'm sending over by email. Again, this is published on May 25th in the New York Times Online through Deb Sopan. And the title, in case you want to Google it and not get the link from Mort, is called Visa Stops Morgan Freeman Commercials After Sexual Harassment Report. So I hope you didn't enjoy it because of the gravity of the situation potentially in the future. I hope the best for PepsiCo and Visa credit card in the future regardless, and hopefully this is continues to only be allegations for Morgan Freeman. Everything goes better in the future. So I hope we learned something from it, because I know I did. So as it relates from a marketing perspective. So I hope you did too. Thanks for tuning in, Mort, and anyone else. And thanks so much. This is Shane Tisdale.